We're here from Massachusetts pre-trip inspection for CDL Class A. We're going to start off, normally we don't have that wind visor thing up on the top, but we're going to start off with our trailer marker lights on the top. Amber in color, clear, no cracks, properly working. We're going to talk about our tractor cab corner marker lights, amber in color, clear, no cracks. Our 3 ID lights in the middle, amber in color, clear, no cracks, also indicating 80 inches or wider. Come down to the front of the truck here. Spot mirrors properly secured. Also, amber parking light indicators on the mirrors. Clear, not cracked. Headlights, clear, not cracked. Amber marking lights and blinker bulbs. Amber in color, clear, not cracked. Driver's side headlight, clear, not cracked. Amber marking bulbs and blinker, clear, not cracked. We'd have a front plate attached, properly secured with a valid inspection sticker. Also bumper, properly secured. Underneath, we have no hoses, no electrical wires, and no oil or anything that we can see that's leaking. Also, we stand back and look. Our suspension is not leaning from left to right, or our truck is not leaning from left to right, indicating that our suspension and tires are not broken and not misinflated. Now we'll go ahead and go into the engine compartment. We'll release both latches. Okay, we'll pretend there's a latch there. Pull the hood back. Starting on the passenger side, we have our hoses properly secure. No cuts, no frays, no leaking. Our electrical wires, alternator wires, any wires, no cuts, no frays. We have our antifreeze reservoir for our radiator, properly secured, properly mounted, cap secure, proper level. Our alternator properly secured, belt properly secured. Alternator is also belt driven. We have our water pump, which is gear driven, properly secure, properly mounted. None of the hoses are leaking. No bulges. Our oil fill cap, our oil dipstick, properly secure. Our frame, no cracks, no welds. Horn secure. Our shock, properly secured, not leaking. Our leaf springs, properly secured, no cracks, no welds. Our leaf spring mounts, properly secured, no cracks, no welds, both sides. Our 2 U-bolts, no cracks, no welds, properly secured. Our air brake can, no dents, no rust, no cracks, no welds. Our brake lines, properly secured, not leaking, no cracks, no dry rot. Our slack adjusters, 1 inch of play when adjusted by hand. Our push rod, not bent, properly aligned. Also, back to the leaf spring before I forget. It's not angled or canted at all, it's properly aligned. Our air brakes, our can goes to our brake drums. There's no contamination, no oil, no excess buildup of brake dust. Also, if you look down there, we have our tie rod with our castle nuts and cotter pins properly secured. We have our wheel, inner wheel, no cracks, no welds. Outer wheel, no cracks, no welds. We have lug nuts, no rusty spots, no shininess indicating looseness. Our hub axle seal, properly secured, properly mounted, no leaking, proper oil level. Also, our valve stem is metal with a metal cap. Our front tires are 4/32 of an inch, evenly worn, 110 PSI. Our sidewalls, ABS, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts on our outside sidewall. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts on our inside sidewall. Our outside rim, no cracks, no welds. None of the corners are curb rashed. Our mud flap splash guard is 6 inches off the ground. And now we will move to the other side. Probably forgetting something, but who knows, maybe not. We start up here in our wires from top to bottom. No frays, no cuts, properly secured. Come over here. Our belt tension's good. Compressors properly, our AC condenser or compressor is properly secured. Our compressor properly secured, not leaking. Hoses, no frays, not leaking. Also, the compressor is gear driven. The governor, properly secure. Frames, no cracks, no welds. Steering shaft, properly aligned. U-joints, no play. Steering box, properly secured, properly mounted. Power steering fluid reservoir, properly secured, properly mounted. Caps on tight. Fluids at the right level. Hoses not leaking, not cut, not frayed. Drop pitman arm, properly secured, properly mounted. Castle nuts, castle nut and cotter pin, properly secured, properly mounted. Drag link, properly secured, properly mounted, no cracks, no welds. Cotter pins on the castle nut. Leaf springs, no cracks, no welds, not misaligned. Leaf spring mounts and hangers, if there is any, there's not on this one. Properly secured, properly mounted. U-bolts, properly, two of them, properly secured, properly mounted. Spindle, attaching to the drag link, properly secure, no cracks, no welds. Airlines not leaking, no dry rot, no cracks, no welds, no cuts, no frays or bulges. My slack adjusters, 1 inches of play when adjusted by and tested by hand. My push rod, not bent, properly aligned with the pins. My air cans, no cracks, no welds, no dents. My brake drums, no contamination, no oil, no excess buildup. Also, failed to mention on the other side, 1/4 inch of liner on the inside of the brake drums, minimum. Inner rim, no crack, no weld. Outer rims, no cracks, no welds. Edges, no curb rash around. My lug nuts, properly secured, no rust or shininess indicating looseness. My hub oil seal, properly secured, not leaking, oil's at a proper level. My valve stem is metal, stem and cap. If I was to check the pressure with a pressure reading, it should read 110 PSI for my front tires. Also, minimum tread depth, 4/32 of an inch, evenly worn. Sidewalls, outside and inside, ABS, abrasions, bulges, cuts, there's none. Now this concludes at this point the whole front of my cabin vehicle. So before I move on, we want to make sure we put the hatch back down, the hood, and latch both sides before continuing. Okay, I'm going to pretend there's a latch there. Latch here. Okay, starting at driver's side. Mirrors, properly secured. Door handle, properly secured. It's a little tough to do 3 points of contact with a phone in my hand, but we're gonna grab these two handles here on both sides We're going to give them a pull. Handles are properly secured. As we're standing on the 2 steps, steps are properly secured. We're going to shut this door here. Our steps are also connected to our fuel tank with 2 straps and a rubber gasket going down, both properly secured. Gas tank has no dents, no leaks, no rust. My directional, amber in color, clear, no cracks, marker light. My fuel cap, metal, with a chain so I don't lose it down the highway. Also has a gasket. My battery box, properly secure, properly mounted. Inside, if I was to check, no corrosion. Wire connections are tight. Steps properly secure. 2 air cans properly secure underneath, not leaking. Hoses properly secure. My glide hands, both of them properly secure, properly mounted, not leaking. Rubber grommets inside if I was to check, not leaking. My electrical connection coming from the tractor to the cab, properly secure. My lines, not dangling and not touching the catwalk, clear. Back of my tractor, no visible damage. My frame, no cracks, no welds. The rear of my tractor, no visible damage. Height 12'6". Side indicator, marker light, amber in color, clear, no cracks. DOT tape, 100% intact all the way down the vehicle. Underneath, our springs, no cracks, no welds. Our spring hangers, properly secured, properly mounted. The drive shaft under there, we'll get to that on the other side. Our air cans, no dents, no cracks, no welds. Air lines properly secured, not leaking. Slack adjusters, if I was to check under there, no more than 1 inch of play when adjusted by hand with the vehicle chalked. And also the brakes inside the cab, air brakes released, because they're spring brakes from these wheels all the way back. That's where your emergency spring brakes come into play. So now you got your U-bolts under there for your springs, properly mounted, properly secure. You have your shock absorber, properly secure, not leaking. You have your brake drums, properly secure, no contamination, no cracks, no welds. No less than a 1/4 inch of liner. Our rims, no cracks, no welds on the inside rim. Outside rim, no cracks, no welds. Lug nuts properly secure, no rust or shininess indicating looseness. Axle seal not leaking. Lug nuts, all the nuts properly secure, no rust or shininess indicating looseness. Outer rim, no cracks, no welds. Edge, no gashes or anything from curbs. Valve stem, metal valve stem with a metal valve cap. Also rear tires on singles, 100 PSI, 2/32 of an inch in tread, evenly worn. Inner and outer sidewalls, no ABS, abrasions, bulges, or cuts. We'll work our way underneath here real quick because we're under here. While you're sitting on the side too, before you get under here, you also want to mention your apron. Your apron's clear, no damage on it. Right, there's no space in between your fifth wheel and your apron, right there. Your fifth wheel is also properly secured. Your handle that locks your lock jaws in onto your kingpin is engaged. And once we get under here, we're going to go ahead and verify that. Our airbag, there's no cracks, no dry rot, properly secured. We get under here. Our jaws are locked onto our kingpin. We have our red directional and brake light working properly, clear, no cracks. We have our reverse light, clear, no cracks. We're gonna assume we have a license plate here. It's properly secured, properly mounted. Light working properly. Valid inspections, valid registration. No cracks, no welds on the frame. We're gonna go ahead and look up on our overhead here. Our cross members on our trailer, properly secured. No visible welds or damage or cracks. The floor of our trailer, no damage, no holes, all intact. Behind us, we have our landing gear. Just give it a little kick, test it. Crossbar for the landing gear, all properly secured, no welds, no cracks. Our landing gear is all the way up in the up position. Our handle has 2 speeds, low and high. Also, handle's properly secured to the handle mount. We stand back, coming down the trailer. We get midway to the trailer. We have our midway trailer marker light, amber in color and blinker. Directional, working properly. Once we get back here, you want to make sure these lines are no more than 18 inches off. They have to be 18 inches or more off the ground, no less. Sliding tandem gear, all locked in proper with the handles and the pins, all the way down. Our hangers, no cracks, no welds. Our leaf spring mounts, cracks, no welds. Frame, no cracks, no welds. Leaf springs, no cracks, no welds. 2 U-bolts, properly secure. Torque bar, it's a tube, so T for tube.